Good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. Marino, the Nuncio for Malaysia and Timor-Leste. We are here to interview Your Excellency about Madre Teresa's canonization for next September this year. Your Excellency, who was Blessed Teresa before she became well known as Madre Teresa when she started with the Missionary of Charity in India, Calcuta?
Mother Teresa was born in Albania, and as a young girl she always thought she had a vocation to be a religious sister, and she made that decision, and she became a member of the Institute of the Blessed Virgin Mary, a congregation out of Ireland, and she went to Ireland to study to become a teacher.
In 1929?
Yes, 28. Right, she started as a religious because the congregation which she joined had schools in India.
Okay.
And she was sent to Calcutta to teach. So her first vocation as a Christian, of course, she was baptized, then as a religious, then as a teacher. So she was highly educated, a highly educated woman. She was in Calcutta teaching at a school in Calcutta. And maybe at this time we can even tell the teachers who are watching that they have a saint in Mother Teresa as well.
Already
because it's so important, the job of a teacher. So she led that life for many years, teaching
in India.
In India, in Calcutta. And I think what happened is every day as she was going to school or going out of the school or going around Calcutta, she saw all of these people.
So this could be the experience which led her to start a new mission of a missionary,
yes.
Which is in 1948. She started with a missionary of charity. What is that mission?
As I said, as she was going around Calcutta, she saw all these people literally on the street. People who were dying with no one near them, people who were dying with no care. And she had an intense calling from the Lord to take care of these people, whom she always called the poorest of the poor. That was her mission. She said, we will not take care of just the poor. We want the poorest of the poor. And of course, she went through all the canonical steps to start her congregation, and she called them the missionaries of charity.
Interesting. When she said that she felt inside herself the call inside the call.
Exactly.
That must be the point determined to start this new mission.
Exactly.
Missionary of charity.
Our primary call comes from baptism, to be Christian. Then she had the call to become a religious, in which through that vocation she was teaching. Then she had the call within that call. She kept going deeper and deeper to become closer and closer to Christ and to those people who needed her and her sisters. And she called them, as I said, missionaries of charity. And one day she was asked, why did you call your congregation missionaries of charity? She said the word missionary means to carry, to bring, charity to the people. We will bring the charity of God to people, the carriers.
To carry the people of God.
To carry the charity of God to people.
So not only to have to care the people, but to carry the people.
Exactly. Completely.
God.
And this is so in line with what Pope Francis is teaching us as church. He says, one of his definitions of what it means to be a Christian, in one of his documents, The Joy of the Gospel, he said, to be a Christian means to be a missionary disciple. That is, a disciple, we follow Christ, but we go outside of ourselves to those people who need the love of Christ.
That's
missionary. That's the missionary part. The missionary disciple.
When she started her Institute of Charity, she might have many problems also. But after that, we saw that many people came to help her until she got also Nobel Peace Prize in 1979,
Right.
and also many other prizes that she got. What is the opinion of the church about these prizes in comparison with what she did as a Christian, as a disciple of
Right.
Jesus?
She took it as a recognition. She said, in accepting that, I take it so that the world become more aware of the poor people. And of course, when you get the prize, you also get a little money.
Yeah.
And she took it as if every penny will go to the poor people that I serve.
Your Excellency have the experience of working together with her in
Yes.
Calcuta in 1976.
Yes.
What was your
I was
impression?
younger then, and I could go. I was a seminarian in Rome, studying to be a priest. And after the first year of studies, instead of going back to our home countries, we were encouraged to go to a missionary country. And I chose to go to Calcutta. And I worked with the brothers.
Why you chose to go to Calcutta? Because of the situations
Well,
you
because-
knew before?
Yes,
Oh no.
yes, because
That's a destiny.
I had been
It was a
reading. No, I
destiny.
had been reading about Mother Teresa and seeing her on the television and seeing articles and said, "Oh, would it be something to be close to Mother Teresa and to hear her speak and to give ideas?" So I volunteered to go to Calcutta.
How you experienced it?
Oh, it was a very, very what's the word? Deep experience because. Like as soon as I got there, I lived with the brothers. You know, she has brothers and she has the sisters. She has two congregations, one for men, one for women. Of course, I stayed with the brothers. And she made it very clear, if we're going to work with the poor, minister to the poor, love the poor, we must live like the poor.
So the spirit was those who work with the poor should live also
Yes.
with the poor.
And we did. So the room that we slept in was also the place where we prayed, where we ate, and we ate like the poor, very little food. I lost 7 kilos in 1 month. And I'm not that big.
Okay, what was the special testimony that you saw in Madre Teresa? Very special.
She was giving joy to people who were set aside. The first place I went was a famous place. It was the home for the dying. And everyone in this room, in this hospital, more of a clinic, not a hospital, they were all dying. They were dying. Tuberculosis, cancer, diseases. And all she wanted to give them before they died, before their death,
But
was
those
love.
died because just because of the less of the medicines or the less of the people who worked,
Because of
or
this-
there were too many.
There was this, in 1976 still, India had so many challenges with their economy, with so many aspects of the society. And so she wanted just to give them joy before they died, and to be loved, and to be shaved, and to be clean. And so that was my job. And I
Her
did
job
that.
was give them the joy.
A joy.
This is what led her to
know that they were
serve
loved by
them
God.
lovely.
Yes. And that was the joy of being with Mother.
She became well known, as I have just asked, that she won many prizes, international prizes. Even in India, she won many prizes from the government in India. But also, there were also some critics from some journalists. For example, critic from Christopher Hitchens said that Mother Teresa, not a friend of poor people, but she is a friend of poverty. How is your opinion about this?
I think the definition is too narrow. That this person who made that comment, because she did not only speak about material poverty, She also said we must help those who have spiritual poverty.
So it's more to
The whole
understand.
person.
It's more to understand what Mother Teresa did. Means you have to live, or you have to live together with her or with the poor and work for the poor.
Right.
To understand it well.
And to be close to Christ.
Okay.
Because each morning before we went to the places to work, to minister, it was 1 hour of adoration before the Eucharist.
Maybe this is why when John Paul II asked her, Mother Teresa, where did you get the strength, the courage to do this work, such work like this? And the answer, one of them, was what your Excellency has just said, the Christ. And she also said about the prayer.
Right. She said, if we do not see Christ in the Eucharist, experience him in the Eucharist, we will not see him in the poor. So it begins with the Eucharist. So it's a very Eucharistic spirituality. It's not just going out to help people, but it comes from Christ that penetrates your heart in the Eucharist.
She lived very deep in what she was doing.
Absolutely.
And at a point she said that the suffering itself is a gift, grace of God.
Yes.
As the one who has worked with her, your testimony about this.
Yes, because she would say that in a sense, it gives the opportunity for people to come to know the great love that God has,
Okay.
even in the most difficult moment. And you don't.
There's always love.
There's always love from God, and I think that's the message that Mother wanted to give everyone, because we all go through moments.
Even in suffer, there is God.
Yes.
There is the love of God.
Right. Given by others, given by friends, given by priests, by sisters, by family members. This is the joy of the gospel. This is the joy of our Christian life, that we're never alone. And that's what Mother wanted to give to the world. Those physically, materially poor, but also those spiritually poor, who don't want to believe, who are depressed, who are despairing. Even that, she wanted to say, God is loving you. Love him in return.
Because she said, we can also find the grace of God, or God himself in the suffering.
Exactly.
Those who are living in the difficulty, disorder. The canonization of Mother Teresa will be on 4th of September.
Yes.
Which is
in
St. Peter, which is in the year of mercy. What it means to the church?
It fits in with the year of mercy, precisely what the Holy Father, Pope Francis, intended for this year to be. That we become, one, very much aware that God loves us and is merciful to us. And two, that we become effective ministers of mercy. And that's the life of Mother Teresa. That's the life of every Christian. That we've been touched by the love of God. And since we have been touched by the love of God, we must touch other people by our love. That's Mother Teresa.
Okay. The meaning of the canonization itself for the church, what is it?
It means now that her name is enrolled in the book of saints, and that she is in heaven with God. And we can now ask her to intercede for us. Even now, she can continue to show love and mercy by praying for us directly to God in heaven. And it also means, and this is something that's very important when we think of the saints, it's not only that we look at their marvelous life, impressive life, beautiful life, but we associate ourselves with them. We unite ourselves with them in order that we can live the same charity.
Exactly. With the saints.
Exactly.
What are the criteria?
Well, I'm not an expert on the process, but certainly you have to have lived a holy life. What does that mean? That your life, and somehow your human life on earth, people were able to see God and the love of God.
This is what Mother Teresa.
Secondly, maybe some spiritual writings that show the depth of her union with God. Then
Her spiritual
our
life.
spiritual life. Then, of course, the famous miracles. There has to be at least 2 miracles. And I'm
At
not
least
sure,
2.
yeah, at least 2. And I'm not sure which 2 applied to Mother Teresa, but they have been documented.
Yeah, one maybe from Brazil.
Okay. Yes, correct. Yeah, yes.
One maybe from Brazil.
And then this is very important too, that after the death, people go to the tomb, go to the grave with veneration, wanting to be near the saint. There's a kind of a cult going around the body of where the saint.
Let us go back to the canonization, which is exactly the year of the mercy. Does it mean some special grace of God to the Christians through Madre Teresa, through this canonization?
Yes, of course. I think when the Holy Father, at some point in the beginning of the Mass, he will say, I, by the authority given to me, declare Mother Teresa saint. There will be a picture of Mother Teresa on the facade of St. Peter's, and then they will unveil it, and then they will see the official picture of the saint at that moment. And I think at that moment people will feel the presence of Mother Teresa. Those that are in the square, those who are watching it on television, are listening to it on radio, that it will be a moment of grace for everyone. Because probably Mother Teresa was one of the most talked about women in the second half of the 20th century because of her great love. So many people, she touched so many lives, not just Catholics, Christians, everyone respected and loved Mother Teresa.
It means the grace of God through Marino.
Exactly.
Teresa goes to all, not only to Christians or Catholics.
Exactly.
Looking at the real situation of the world nowadays, do Your Excellency think that the world is really in need people like Mother Teresa in this era?
Yes. But we're all called to be like Mother Teresa.
We all are called.
In our own way, because we're Christian.
Not to do exactly
Well,
same like what Mother Teresa did, but we are all called to serve the poor and
we're all called to show the love of God to whomever needs it. Many times it's members of our own family, people living in our own homes, our cousins, our relatives, many in our communities. Many times it means helping someone who cannot eat that day. I'll never forget one time when we went out to the missions there in the area of Calcuta. Yes, one day we went to distribute rice in a small little village where the people had nothing. So we brought a huge bag of rice, and the people would line up with a cup or a bowl to get the rice. Each person got so much. Then I noticed one person took the bowl of rice, and instead of going back to her home, went to another home with it. And at that time it was a sister helping. I said, Sister, why is the lady going to another home with the rice? And she said, oh, I don't know, let me go find out. So she ran over to the lady and said, what did you do with your rice that we gave you? You went to another house, not your own house. And she said, you know what she said? The lady across the street has more children and needs more rice. So I gave her half of my rice. To the poor, helping the poor.
So what Mother Teresa testified in the poor made those poor, they also helped each other.
They understood.
They understood it and they lived what they saw in
If you are loving me by giving rice, I will love my neighbor to give some of my rice. Well, this is salvation. God has loved us, we must love others. God has shown us mercy, we must show mercy.
According to Your Excellency, through her testimony of life, what is the message that Mother Teresa left to the world and also to the humanity?
I would say let's just take the name of her congregation, Missionaries of Charity. Let us all be carriers of God's love to other people. And not to be afraid. By the way, St. Paul taught us that we can never outdo God in charity. If we give, he gives us back double.
In this occasion of canonization, for us Christians, which is very important for the life of the church, but also for the life of the people of God. As a nuncio for Malaysia and for Timor-Leste, do Your Excellency have special message for the Christians and also for those who are not Christians but live in the way that Madre Teresa lived?
I think the message of Mother Teresa is universal because it touches our basic humanity. Human beings are made to be in relation to other people. And how can a human being be unaffected by suffering of other people? So it's all of humanity working in this, just not the Christians. All people of goodwill. But of course, as Christians, we do it in the name of Jesus and for the love of the Lord, because he came and saved us. And we must do our part to save other people.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you, Father.